I want to start today with a moment that Samantha and I had with Rick that was very difficult, but completely changed the next few months of our recovery because we were stuck. And so I'll tell you the story. We were having this session with Rick, and you may know about these sessions. You get in the car, you drive together, but you don't talk, and you get to the session, and Rick says, "How are you doing?" And you just kind of look at Rick with, "Doing all right, Rick." And he looks at Samantha and says, "Samantha," and notice his tone would change with Samantha. He'd say, "Samantha, how are you doing?" Because he knew. And she would say, "Not good, Rick." And that's when I think Rick was like, "Here we go." And we had this moment, and to keep it short, we just kind of lashed out at each other. And then Rick said, hold on. And he actually said, "Samuel, just shut up. Will you just trust me and shut up?" I said, "Fine, I'll shut up, but I'm not going to shut up for long." Yeah, I was a big tough guy. And Rick, I don't know, but masterfully said, "Samantha, do you feel this?" And he just kind of threw some things out, and she was crying and said, "Absolutely." And he said, "Samuel, do you feel this?" And I was like, "Absolutely." And then he did this really unique thing. He then said to Samantha, and Samuel, tell me if I'm wrong, but he said, "Samuel feels these things." And he kind of laid it out. And she was like, she looked at me and she was like, "Are you serious? You feel that?" And I said, "Yeah." And I started crying. I was like, "Absolutely, I feel that." And then he did the same thing with me. And I looked at Samantha and I said, "Do you feel like that?" And she said, "Absolutely." And we had this huge hugging session, and it was a great moment. But here's what really changed things on that day, and for several months. I mean, probably 6 to 12 months, we rode on that wave of momentum. It was that I had an awareness for what Samantha was dealing with. And Samantha had an awareness for what I was dealing with. Let me make it a little bit more simple for you. I started to understand because Rick helped me see how many reminders Samantha had every day. I started to understand that when we were watching TV and a comedian came on and he made a joke about infidelity, what it did to Samantha, not me. You see, I started to think through the eyes of my betrayed spouse, and that produced empathy and remorse inside of me. See, I had to get rid of self-absorption. Now, if you're a betrayed spouse, please indulge me. I know this is going to be tough for you, but give me a couple minutes to extrapolate out some things. I think it's good for you when the situation is safe, for you as a betrayed to understand what's going on in the mind of the unfaithful so that you can have an awareness for what's happening. For example, when Rick laid out the voices of condemnation, of shame, of self-hatred, of failure, of the complete annihilation of faith in myself and that I would ever be anything good again, Samantha's heart broke for what I was going through. She was still mad as hell. She still was angry for what had happened. But we were at a place where she could understand my jail cell, if you will, and I put myself in that jail cell. But she started to understand the battle that I was fighting every day, and so she began to see ways that she could be empathetic and that she could be compassionate and that she could care for me. I know that's tough. I know I just heard a million voices of betrayed spouses go, "That is not going to happen anytime soon." I know it's hard, but you'll get there. You're going to have to get there if you guys are going to get back to oneness. You see, the game changed when I was able to understand what was going on in Samantha's world every day. And the game changed when Samantha was able to understand what was going on in my mind every day. We started to get back to a sense of safety, but a sense of connection. And remember, if you're disconnected in recovery and if you're disconnected in marriage, the whole foundation slowly but surely erodes. And so this was a turning point. And so you're going to have to find the right help. You're going to have to find the right therapist maybe. There's programs on the site that you can take. There's the EMS weekend that you can attend. If you can't afford it or what have you, if you find the right therapist, they're going to help you understand how to get into each other's world and understand what they battle every single day. Because when you get an idea for that empathetically, and when you begin to understand that, you start to feel compassion, you start to grieve over what your partner is dealing with. Now, the whole thing breaks down if there's not safety. So remember, there's got to be safety. And if there's a safe sense of momentum, at least some, then you're going to be able to do this. Because as you can understand what your spouse is dealing with, when you come home or when you reconnect, you can find a way to graciously say, so how did today go? I'm sure it was probably tough. You know, how were the reminders? Or how were your emotions? Or what did you struggle with? And if you're betrayed, you can say, so how you doing today? How's your hope? How's your outlook on life? What's the voices saying to you today? I say all this because it completely changed our recovery. And I hope that you can get to this point. If you need help on how to get there, you can reach out through the site. You can go to Twitter on Infidelity Scars and message me there. I'll do all I can for you, but you've got to get to this point eventually, or else it's going to slow the entire recovery process down.